What is up, everybody? It is Crux here with the Crux of Crypto, and we're entering our third week of live streams. So every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, I bring you guys the alpha. And this again is our third week. We got a lot of content to bring to you today. A lot of it in regards to Trump, Crow, and quite a bit of other articles that some people aren't really talking about, like what's happening with Monero. What's happening with Chainlink. We got some Chainlink news to cover today. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this intro, but I do want to say we are having a bullish pump. You can see the lights are out. I even got a little green light in the background. So we're going to hodl. We're going to continue to accumulate. And as people come into the stream, share this video out with other people. If, as you can see in the pinned comment, if we can get to 100 likes, I will find a gem with you guys live here on this live stream, which is definitely doable. Also, what we're shooting for on this live stream is 1,000 views. So we haven't had too many live streams yet, but I think we can hit 1,000 views. As you know, this channel fairly new in terms of live streams, so we're definitely going to need that push. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and that's how we get there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and read some of the comments and people who are here, and then we'll jump into the overall state of the markets. So we have Just a Dude with the very first comment. He's always here supporting. Appreciate you, brother. We have Jim Bean. He's already asking a question. We have Kryptoni. Welcome, shout out. Hey, the green lights aren't just bullish market, it's also for Caspa. We love Caspa here on this channel. JR Block, one of my biggest, if not my biggest supporter. I always appreciate your hard work that you do for myself and Tim in the background, JR. We love you, brother. And then Just a Dude reminding y'all, hit that like button. Jim Beam, are we on the last leg up for the bull market? I could definitely answer that. Let's throw that into the first batch of Q&A. So I'm going to do a couple news articles with you after the overall state of the markets, my little quick breakdown, and then we'll jump into that very first question, Jim Beam. But without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the markets. So first, as you can see, we're starting to pump. Today is a fairly green day, sitting at just under 4 trillion market cap. That's a good number for me. I like the 4 trillion number. It took us a little while to get here. We pushed, I think, through to about 4.25, but we have since retraced, went as low as 3.8 trillion, and now we're back on the rise. So I'm super excited. I'm overall very bullish. I hope these words motivate you, and that's what they're designed to do. This live stream is for typically bulls. I'm very realistic, so I will give you the bear scenarios at times, but my content is definitely more dedicated to the bulls of crypto, because my voice is for those that are here trying to change the space for the better. Now, one thing as an analyst I always do, and I'm going to do before the news sessions, is checking out the quick trending cryptos of the day, and then we'll jump into the news. As you can see, Kronos is the big article of the day. I threw it in the title for a reason. For SEO reasons, it's going to get the buzz that we all need to know about. Notcoin, this is a project that's nobody's talking about it, but I will tell you, I spend a lot of time looking at the trending cryptos, and for some reason, Notcoin has been on here for about 3 weeks straight, and it's trending, and the price action hasn't been doing very good. So I'm not telling anybody to go out and buy any Notcoin. I'd actually rather just go grab some Toncoin. But if Notcoin pops out of nowhere, it is because this crypto has been trending for multiple weeks and has not pumped yet. So something's happening. I don't know why people are searching it. Moving on, we got some Pinlink, Numerare. I've heard of Numerare, not Pinlink. We're going to move past those. But again, if we get 100 likes on this live stream, I will find a gem with you guys, and maybe that's one of them. We got some Bitcoin. Most of your portfolio should be in that one, if it's your first bull market, of course. Pudgy Penguins, very bullish on this project. Ethereum's having a fairly bullish day. We're going to definitely get into some Bitwise Ethereum news coming here shortly. Chainlink, we got some Chainlink ETF news. Is Chainlink going to be the next cryptocurrency to get an ETF? We have Black Hole, another liquidity play. Solana. So, in my opinion, Solana is going to be the next all-time high cryptocurrency after Ethereum breaks into its all-time high that technically set, I think, last week. It set a new high, and then now we're going to go on the retest, and then hopefully we break through for the better this time. I think Ethereum's going to have a good run-up, hopefully to 6K. And during that process, do not sleep on Solana. Solana is going to get a ton of attention. Jupiter, the entire ecosystem is going to wake up. Moving on, Ondo. Ondo's a sleeper. A lot of people are asking Crux, should I continue to hodl my Ondo? I always say yes. Hodl gang, where you at? If you got some Ondo, throw a 1 in chat. Ondo Finance is where it's at. All right, we got some Block, Aave, and then last one, Open VPP. I don't know much about Block or Open. Again, 100 likes, and we can look into some of these. And then I always encourage people, get some Aave. Don't fade the #1 project in all of crypto in terms of TVL, sitting at over 30 billion. #1 DeFi play in all of crypto. One of the most interoperable plays outside of Chainlink. Do not sleep on Aave. All right, that's enough for the trending cryptos. Let's move on to the story of the day. So I like Kabisi Letter. Definitely give them a subscribe on Twitter. This is a quick breakdown of what's going on, right? So President Trump just signed the executive order which fired Fed Governor Cook due to quote unquote criminal referral. So on the thumbnail, you can see "you are fired" all caps. It's all red. And I do that to get you guys to click, right? But there's a lot of quotes that Kabesi's using here. Why? So never in 111 years, the history of the 111 years, the Fed has fired a Fed governor. This is completely shift, and there's a completely new shift in the Fed. And then I'll move on to on August 25th, which was yesterday. Trump published an executive order. It cites Article 2 of the Constitution and the Federal Reserve Act, claiming she can be removed for cause. So he's trying to go for a loophole here. And the alleged cause is a criminal referral accusing federal Governor Cook of false statements on mortgage documents. So what is going on here? We have a federal governor that Trump is trying to get out of position. And I'm sure you're asking why. Why would this one person being fired completely change the landscape for Donald Trump's, at least within the next month with September? And if this is going to affect rate cuts, why would it affect that? And we'll continue on down the article. And as you can see, the cause stems from FHFA Director Bill Poot, and he says he submitted a criminal referral to the Department of Justice alleging she declared 2 different properties as her primary residence. So this is definitely not really related to the current state of the markets or how the Fed is adjusting to what's going on with inflation or jobless claims. This is a way to try to just get her out of the way, and who knows, it may work. And last note on here is, but why? There are 7 federal governors, including Fed Chair Powell, who votes on interest rate policies. Most of you guys know there's 7 Fed governors. Currently, excluding Powell, Trump has appointed 3 of the 7. So he will get the majority if he's able to appoint another. Just like the next sentence says, if he's able to replace federal Governor Cook, Trump appointees would be the majority, which is big. At that point, Trump would have a lot of sway, but as we know, he can't technically fire them. What do you guys think? I think this is definitely open for discussion. Do you think Cook is going to be fired for this not misdemeanor, but for this offense that Trump is claiming? And also the impact, what does it mean? If Trump is able to get enough people in that follow his guidance, he's able to sway to lower interest rates. Trump is definitely leading towards making money cheaper to borrow. This can lead to inflation. However, on the other hand, we know inflation is an issue. Jobless claims just came out. These are 2 things that are definitely on our radar. So in the coming weeks, we should see, what does this all mean? All right, moving on to the next story of the day. This is a quick 20-second clip. Go ahead and listen.
2 more things. The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain so people can use the blockchain for data distribution, and then we're going to make that available to the entire government so all of you can do it. We're just ironing out all the details so we can do it. 2 more.
All right, as you can see, the government is essentially merging onto the blockchain. Is this going to happen? I think so. I think the best time and the best opportunity for it to happen is under President Donald Trump's order. And that's because he's the most pro-crypto president we're probably ever going to have. Who knows? Maybe next next presidential cycle, we may see somebody bigger, but I don't see anybody. This guy, I think he somewhat understands crypto, but he's definitely being led by people that understand crypto, as there's actually agencies out there that are focused on bringing digital assets to to the country itself. So definitely continue to stay on top of this. Crux, what are the best blockchains to invest in terms of securing the overall country on the blockchain? Number one, I would say, is Cardano. So definitely big friend of the channel, Tim Warren. That's his number one. I agree with Tim. We're both very bullish on Cardano. I just dropped a Cardano versus HBAR video last week. So if you haven't seen that, you're sleeping under a rock. You need to get on it. Cardano, I'm not going to spoil it, but Cardano, the security over there is second to none. And I kind of handicapped it, honestly. I didn't talk about Leos, which is the scaling solution built on the main network that's coming in 2026. I didn't even talk about Midgard. So there's a lot of security over there, and a lot of people are sleeping on Cardano. But I'll tell you, 2025 is not Cardano's year. It's a year to accumulate Cardano. 2026 will be Cardano's year. And again, subscribe to this channel because I drop Cardano breakdowns usually about once a quarter. So I should be dropping one in the next couple of weeks. All right. With that story out the way, let's go ahead and read some of the chats that you guys have. All right. Cat in the Hat. Yo, Crux, glad to be here. Glad that you're here, brother. Jim Beam, I sold all my 1600 Crow a few months back for ADA. Do you think it'll be okay? Do you think I'll be okay? So, Jim Beam, you've just heard me talk about Cardano. Right after this Q&A session, I'll jump right into Crow, a very bullish article with Crow. Actually, a very big headline that happened earlier today, and I'll spend a good amount of time talking about Crow because it deserves it. Does it deserve its own standalone video? Maybe. So in the coming months, I might even drop a quick dive on Crow. So it's a little difficult. There's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there. I'm not a maxi at all. I'm exact opposite of a maxi. I give all these projects their due diligence. I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I look into them and I try to spread the word on them. So taking a whole usually if I kind of like a project, I'll throw it in a top 5 video. So maybe top 5 real world assets or top 5 for September, those type of videos. But if I really believe a project, check out the quick dives. That's a whole 10 to 12 minute session of me being bullish on it. And I'll talk about one I just dropped last week that's already hitting the waves. Jim, okay, so Kenny G, smash that like button. Shout out XRP Army. Throw your X's in chat if you're rocking with the XRP Ripple. Cat in the Hat, you threw up your one. There's a lot of ones in chat. Okay. Yes, she will get fired, says Kenny G. Okay, we'll see. If she's getting fired, I'm telling you, the markets are going to pump because we will get those interest rates lowered. And we're not just talking 25 basis points. Right now, that's kind of like the overall sentiment. All we want to do is start dropping. We don't want to raise, and we don't want to just sit where we're at. We need to drop. And Donald Trump, he's like, we need to drop 2 full points. So we're not talking about small little drops here. We're talking about the cost of money. It's not going to be free, but it'll be very, very, very cheap. And then that's very bullish for risk on assets. Maybe not in the short term, but this time could be different. And y'all love those words. Kryptoni, if anything, it comes third. Security, no, Kryptoni. Tell me 2 blockchains out there that are more secure than Cardano. And by security, this is what we're going with. What is the algorithm? Is it SHA-256? So what's the algorithm that it's running on? We can talk a little bit about decentralization. I mean, we'll go ahead and let that bridge into it. So how many nodes are people running and who's running the nodes? So also, I mean, you're gonna have to compete with stuff like Midnight. So I'm definitely curious to hear your take on that, Kryptoni. Who are 2 other blockchains more secure than Bitcoin? And again, I'm always open-minded. So if you're right, I'll definitely say I'm wrong. My ADA bags are packed, says Michael. Let's go, ADA gang. If you're an ADA gang, let's throw up a 3 in chat. If you're ADA gang, throw up some 3s. Crow is going to be a sell the news. Michael, why you got to kill the vibe, bro? You got to read the room, brother. We're about to hit Crow. I mean, I haven't hit the news yet, so you don't know why to be bullish on it. Crow's a solid project. I'm going to tell you point blank, period. I don't know yet if I'm going to make a standalone video for it, but we'll see. If it continues to gain this bullish momentum, it's in there. So, JR Block, flexing on them. No one is more secure than Ada, says Michael S. Peace, Crux, and chat, says Carl. Yeah. Good to have you in here, Carl. We got some Ada holders. I see you, Jim. Muno. That's bulimia? Okay. Short term, sell the news. Sure. I definitely agree with that. If something pumps this much in a single day, I didn't have my chart ready. Right up here, 31%. That's definitely going to be a sell. That like, no, no projects pump 31% in a day and don't see at least a retracement this week. This thing is on fire and we're breaking into cycle highs. How many cryptocurrencies are higher than their November, December 2024 prices right now? The answer is not many. So, all right, let's see. I'll do one more question and then we'll go ahead and jump back into the news. Crow is solid, says Carl. We got some more ones. Short it, says Michael. I would not short Crow right now. Right now, you can definitely see the lights in the room. They're green. The PC's green. And I also, like, the more bullish, the more green. So if maybe the green up here is green, just kind of slightly bullish, I'll just have a little green in the room. This is showing we're pretty green. And then I got the third light. So today is a bullish day. I would not be shorting anything right now. I would actually be hodling. That's why I wore my shirt, because y'all should be hodling. It's not always the best time to accumulate or to sell. Sometimes just, stay in the news. Listen to Crux, listen to all the content creators, well, not all of them, but listen to the good content creators and try to form your own opinions. Of course, this is not financial advice. All right. I see a couple more people in chat, but go ahead and type your questions. I'll get to them here shortly. I'm going to do my second round of Q&A. All right, and I'm showing you guys all the good stuff before I go over it. Okay, here we are. We just talked about Crow a little bit. This is the big news. Crow just got an investment from Trump Media with the purchase of $105 million worth of Crow. Crux, do you like Crow? Yes. I'm actually a Jade Green Visa card holder of Crow. I think you have to have like $4,000 worth of Crow. This was back in like 2020. I've had it since. You had to have like $4,000 worth of Crow. You got to stake it, and they give you like 10% APY on it. But you got free Netflix, you got free Spotify, and then a couple other pretty cool incentives like 10% back on different things. So Crow, they're definitely a first mover. They did take away a lot of those perks, so only your first year for having that card. So at this point, I wouldn't advise you, or I wouldn't recommend to go get the card. But what I like about Crypto.com is not only are they there to rival Coinbase and Kraken, which Kraken should IPO at the end of this year or early next year. I'm pretty sure they're slated for December, if I'm not mistaken. Coinbase already IPO'd. Crypto.com, that is a number 3 contender there. I think Crypto.com is going to be bigger than Kraken, honestly. So don't fade these guys. They have that Trump partnership that Kraken does not have. So we know Circle, they love WLFI, even though they kind of technically are a competitor at this point with USD1. But that's besides the fact. Coinbase, they like Trump. Kraken, you don't have that partnership yet. So which exchange do y'all think will be number 3? Kraken or Coinbase? All right. And Kronos also, they just dropped their new roadmap, which what I like most about them is they're very transparent with how they're doing things. So right now, we know crypto exchanges are very, like Coinbase, for example. I can link my banking account to the exchange, use it as an on-ramp, put my fiat dollars into crypto, and then just go from there. Crypto.com is more like a brokerage. Think of it like Robinhood. So at this point, well, not yet, but on this roadmap, soon you'll be able to buy stocks. So you could on-ramp some fiat, buy some Tesla shares. And that's big. That's something that Kraken or Coinbase do not have yet. So they're taking a little bit of a different route. I would consider them more in the category of a brokerage similar to Robinhood, but so there's a lot of good things going on over there. Check them out. And it's not just their roadmap either. If I show you guys their blockchain, which is one of the most scalable blockchains out there. So they have a blockchain. It's not just a wallet. Well, I mean, they have their native wallet on this blockchain, but don't sleep on it. They're not just an exchange token. They're very immersed into AI. They have a scalable blockchain. They have incoming stocks as a brokerage. They have so much going for them. Partnership with Trump now. Crow is big. If you own some Crow, throw ones in chat. I know I'm telling you guys to throw a lot of numbers in there, but it includes you guys into it. I think you guys like it because I see a lot of numbers in chat, and we could see how much how bullish you guys are on these projects. Because if I always go back and watch these videos, and if I don't see any engagement, I'll probably refrain from addressing stuff like that. So throw ones if you like crypto.com. All right, so the next story, this is pretty big. I'm gonna try to increase the size a little bit for you. I don't know why. Well, okay, let's go down actually, and then I'll just click on it. It should make it larger. All right, so Bitwise just filed a Chainlink ETF. And this is pretty big for those holders out there of Chainlink. I'm a Link Marine. I've been a Link Marine since 2020. And it's actually, again, one of my top 3 fundamental projects out there besides Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think it's the 3rd most valuable crypto in all of blockchain. But something that's been snubbed on is an ETF. We've heard about the AVAX. We've heard about Solana. Solana's probably going to be the next. Solana's been snuffed multiple times. We've heard about XRP, AVAX, Solana, Sui. We got a Pengu filing. What about Chainlink? Finally, we got the big player in the room. And Bitwise, we got more information about them here shortly. They are some dogs. That is not just another company in the space. That is another elite group. And I'm going to compare them here shortly against MicroStrategy. And you guys tell me your thoughts. ETFs with, Ethereum is here to play as well. So we see that Bitcoin dominance starting to trickle a little bit. And it's because of moves like this. Ethereum is leading the way. Bitwise is heavy into Ethereum. Bitwise is immersing itself into alts like Chainlink. And you got to start paying attention to the news because this stuff will leave you if you're just focused on Bitcoin. And on my channel, I like Bitcoin. I hate maxis. So if you're here just pushing Bitcoin, jump in the chat. Even throw a low claim out there. I'll argue with anybody. And I can almost guarantee you, I'll pick apart your claims because that's what I do. I attack the maxis because it's a toxic way to inform people within the space. So on this channel, you'll see, I'm not going to say nothing but good projects, but you'll see a lot of projects that a lot of people don't talk about. And I think that's good. There needs to be a voice of reason that's going through these projects where you can find a little bit of comfort in, because a lot of projects in crypto, they go to zero. So if you want to have the safe, secure profits, just get Bitcoin. But if you want to take a little risk out there, this channel is the way to go. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Q&A session number 2. Okay, there's a lot of questions here. So let's try to scroll back up to the top a little bit. All right, I'm here. Brandon, you're always late, bro, but it's okay. I love you nonetheless. Let's see. Kryptoni, Bitcoin and Cast have better security. All right, so let me tell you why. Okay, that's very subjective. Those are the 2 that I would possibly agree with you. So if you weren't around for the first part of this Q&A, Kryptoni said ADA is not a top 3. So I said ADA is a top 3 secure blockchain out there. And he gave me 2, so it's still in the top 3. And I guess on his list, I need a 3rd one. Bitcoin and Caspa, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Bitcoin has a lot of, I'm not going to say complications, but I will tell you in an article later on, proof of work networks, I mean, you got to start paying attention to what's going on with Monero right now. Like, I'm not here to FUD people. I'm here to bring the facts and on-chain data to tell you guys what's happening. And I'll tell you, proof of work networks like Bitcoin and Caspa, there is a threat that's going on right now, and you guys need to be aware of it. So in terms of are they more secure than Cardano? The decentralization of Caspa definitely isn't. I'll tell you, the decentralization of Bitcoin is. Caspa has very good scalability and more or less security. Um, but yeah, I guess if we're comparing security, we're not comparing decentralization. So the pruning of the nodes, I'm not going to get too technical with you guys, but the pruning of the nodes adding to the security is definitely a buff. All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Kryptoni, find me a third one more bullish, and I'll give you that claim. Agula says, go over claim to Cardano midnight airdrop. All right. If you look at my HBAR versus Hedera video that I dropped last week, in the description, there's a video that quickly shows you how to receive your airdrop of your night tokens. Now, if you're one of 8 different blockchains, such as XLM, XRP, Bitcoin, and you had your crypto in a native wallet that's able to sign, that's very important. You have to be able to sign signature, or you have to be able to apply a signature, or you can't get it. But the snapshot happened on like the 26th of July, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe June. The 26th of like June or July. If you had your token in those native wallets, you can now go claim your free airdrop tokens for night. And if you didn't, let's say if it's in like a Tangent wallet or some wallet that you can't sign, the snapshot's still valid. All you have to do is import your wallet to another wallet that can sign, and then you can claim your tokens. I'm not going to get into in depth, but check out that video, link in the description, of Hedera versus ADA. Jim Beam, I'm getting flashbacks of the last run when I first forgot crypto, when Crow pumped, and then alt season happened. Yeah, so last bull market, what really carried crypto.com, especially into that like last alt season that we had, was the Staples Center getting renamed. So a lot of the basketball stadiums, you had the FTX Arena, which was like Golden State Warriors, I think. And then you have the Staples Center getting renamed to crypto.com. And nowadays, if you watch basketball or whatever, you'll see like Coinbase, like crypto's everywhere. If you're watching UFC fights, you'll see VeChain. Like, we're here to stay. We're making noise, and yeah, it's good. It's good to finally see our fruits come to be. All right. I downloaded Gemini to look for the XRP card. I didn't see it as an option. Any thoughts? So I'll talk a little bit about that XRP card here shortly. Kenny G just swapped it for ETH today. Crow, that's a good move. I think ETH is the next mover. I think a $6,000 ETH is very imminent once we break into all-time high, because of how much we've just like consolidated more or less this bull market. I mean, we have pumped clearly. We went under $1,000 in the bear market, which I was accumulating a lot of ETH around like 11 to 1,200 bucks, which is solid. But it would have been much better to buy into Bitcoin. But hindsight's 2020. You know, last bull market, I did very good with Ethereum, so I thought this one was going to be the same. And Solana was the big move for this one. So is Sui going to be the next big move for the next bull market? Let me know your thoughts of Sui in the comments. And we'll read one more comment and we'll jump back into the news. We're almost 30 minutes after the start of the live stream. All right, so Kryptoni, you can't 51% a DAG that doesn't orphan blocks. You wouldn't have enough hash power. Okay, so you can 51% attack Caspa. Yeah, you can definitely do it. I have to, off the top of my head, I don't exactly understand exactly how to do it, but 51% attack is still a thing within Caspa's ecosystem. Proof of work networks, with the way that they're set up consensus wise, that's generally how it is. It's just majority rules. You know, that's kind of how society's always looked at stuff. You know, it doesn't always have to be 2/3 vote. For the most part, it's as long as 51% of the people believe in something, then we should do it. Kryptoni says no, you can't. All right, Kryptoni. All right, in the comments after this drops, in the comments, I'll go ahead and respond to that. And I'll let you know if you're right, because that's what I do. I'm definitely open-minded. I learn a lot about crypto, but remember, there's so many different blockchains out there. I just dropped a video on Keeta that dropped yesterday, and it's already doing very well. But then after Keeta, what's next? So I have a video on Caspa dropping this Friday, and then I have another one that probably will drop Monday. So we'll talk about the smart contracts there. And then after Caspa, what's next? You know, I talked about maybe Crow. I'm talking about all the hot projects out there. I can't understand one all the way down to the core of it. So let's move on to the news. I don't want to lose too many people's attention here. So talk about my Keeta video. If I can't sell you on Keeta, nobody can. That's a bold claim. The most comprehensive breakdown, it dropped yesterday at 4 p.m. So 4 p.m. Eastern Standard is my time. Tuesday, Thursday, I go live, like today. And then Monday, Wednesday is whenever I drop my static content. Those are usually 10 to 12 minute long videos about what I think is relevant in crypto. On the 1st of September, I got a top 5 September picks coming up. I got the Caspa video and those types of things. So I strongly encourage you guys after this video, go check it out. It's doing well. And also, as you can see over here, this is the creator of Keeta. So if you see my post, I mean, for a channel the size of mine, or a feed is the size of mine, under 1,200 subscribers, it's basically a viral post, 162 shares, well, 24 retweets. I need you guys to continue to retweet because I'm trying to get Ty's attention on this stuff. I dropped a video on the base ecosystem videos, and I got Luke Youngblood, who's a creator of Mamo. So I'm trying to get all the way up to the top in terms of who are the head of these projects and get recognition where I believe it deserved. So trying to cover their projects and get feedback. So, all right. And then also you could see the channel's doing very well. I'm gonna quickly go over like the analytics of what's going on here. This is big. The past 2 weeks I've been live streaming. This is my 3rd week of live streaming, and the channel is starting to blow up. Again, I'm not gonna spend too much time here, but I definitely appreciate you guys on this stuff. In the last 28 days, the views are up, 37,000 views, and it's all because we finally figured out how to conquer the algorithm. This is one of the fastest channels growing in crypto right now, and it's because of you guys. So I just want to give you guys a quick shout out. Love you all, and we're just getting started right here at the crux of crypto. All right, moving on. Talked a little bit about XRP earlier and the card that they have. Right now, you can go on Gemini and you can apply for a credit card. And within this credit card, you can get 4% back in XRP. That's pretty cool. It's very comparable to a lot of the Bitcoin credit cards that are out there. It's actually higher in percentage-wise than Bitcoin. So I think XRP is going to outperform Bitcoin at least over the next decade. So I think this is a better card than Bitcoin's card because you get higher percentages and it's in a better asset in terms of ROI. And y'all could fade me on that. That's cool. If you're with Team Bitcoin, that's cool. If you're with Team XRP, that's cool as well. This is Brad Garlinghouse, one of the the face of what XRP is, and where Ripple is going. And remember, these guys are fighting on the behalf of all of crypto. Last bull market, there was a ton of manipulation, especially from the SEC and Gary Gensler. It was rough they basically had to skip out of a bull market, but they did it for the fate of crypto. Without XRP going through what they went through, they set up the blueprint for the SEC to completely change. And now every single crypto charge from the SEC has been dropped, from Uniswap to Ripple to a lot of these other companies. Coinbase got hit big time in the bear market by the SEC. And you could pay homage to these people. Ripple is where it's at. Don't fade them. Check out Gemini. You know, I'm not a big Gemini user. I personally like Coinbase and a couple other exchanges. But Gemini, they're going to ICO or IPO. ICO? I don't know. Anyways, they're going public at the end of this year. And that's big. That's very big. All right. Moving on. This is kind of the big story of... Say the big story. Yeah, get out the way. Okay. This is kind of like the big story I like to cover. So not a lot of people covering this. I like to cover it because it's huge. Cubic is the villain of Web3 right now. I posted this, I think, yesterday, and I'm here for it. The most secure networks will sort themselves out under pressure. And then I put great video concept. So if you think that this would make a great video concept, let me know in the comments. If I see enough people that want it, I can definitely do it. But let me give you a quick background of what's going on. So a third 9-block reorg has just hit Monero. Cubic mined 19 blocks plus 1 orphan in a row. Wow, what is going on over here? That is jumble mumbo to me. If you don't know, proof of work networks, they are basically what you use hardware and electricity, and then you mine to essentially push the blockchain forward. That's how they run. Proof of stake, I own a crypto, I assign this to a validator, and that validator on my behalf now has my consensus, my voting rights, and the native currency itself is kind of what's secure in the network. There's pros and cons for each of them. So I like proof of stake networks because not only do I get to own the token, for example, Cardano, which let's just say goes up for like a 4x every single year. So I own the asset that's appreciating, and I'm also securing the network. Proof of work networks, I have to buy a miner, like an ASIC miner for $5,000. I start mining, so I don't become profitable for years out, right? Within a proof of stake network, I'm profitable right away. I bought Cardano, it's up 4x, I'm good. Proof of work, it takes a long time to ROI my miner. There's a little bit of energy extensive there, but this means the vision of whoever's going for that consensus is going to be different. So people want to get rich, they go for proof of stake networks. People that believe in the vision go for proof of work networks. And right now we're finally seeing Cubic. Who is starting to attack these networks. And what they're doing is they're allowing people, if you didn't watch my last live stream, they're allowing people to mine in their mining pool, and then they're giving them, I think, like 2x the rate. So instead of mining for F2 pool for Bitcoin and getting X amount, every single time they get a block, now you get X times 2 amount. So everybody's starting to mine for their pool on the Monero blockchain. And what this guy, the guy who's kind of leading the attack, he has recently stated that if he wanted to, he could basically destroy Monero right now. So I'm not going to spoil you guys. Tim has a video that's going to be coming out here pretty soon in the next like 2 weeks. And I'm going to definitely inform him on some of this stuff on how we can protect you guys. But I'll tell you straight up, stay away from Monero. And then also be careful because they're going for Dogecoin next. They're not going to attack it, but they're going to start mining it. And all proof of work networks need to understand what is going on with Cubic and why these systems are being exploited, because Caspa can get hit with a 51% attack. I know we talked about it earlier. He's saying it can't. It can. Bitcoin can too. So none of them are safe. We need to understand what's going on. And let's check out some more Q&A, a little bit more news, and then we'll wrap this up. I know we got about 40 minutes left, so we'll get a good amount of Q&A here. Okay, y'all got a ton of questions. Let me scroll back up a little bit. Yeah, okay, so you already said also Caspa is immune to Cubic. You don't understand how DAGs work. You can't 51% attack a DAG. As much as I know about Caspa, I'll be honest, you could be right. I've definitely looked into the 51% attack. So, but I'm not gonna spend too much time, Kryptoni. I love you, bro, and I appreciate the support and the guidance, because you could have, again, very well be right, and we're leading people in the right direction if we can get an answer to this. Let's see. Michael says, I know how it works. I just didn't see any option for it. Just a card for Bitcoin. Okay. So you're able to see the Bitcoin card on Gemini, but you're not seeing the XRP card. That's interesting. Maybe you have to hold XRP or something. Maybe there's a stipulation behind it. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I would definitely go for an XRP card over a Bitcoin card, because in my opinion, it's just the better ROI asset out there. And there's a lot of good things that XRP can do that Bitcoin can't do. So if we just quickly compare Bitcoin with XRP, the scalable network is clearly XRP. XRP is very cheap. For under a cent, you can send a transaction on the XRP ledger. They also have a tag function, which is pretty neat. That adds to the security of the network. They don't have like very crazy smart contracts going on right now within that blockchain, which I appreciate. And that's something that Caspa, you gotta be very careful with Caspa, because they're going to be dropping smart contracts later this month. And I don't always think that's a good thing. If we're just trying to be a medium of exchange, smart contracts actually take away from the security of a network. You can use smart contracts to better the security of a network, but for the most part, think about Cetus. You know, they essentially were targeted through an exploit. Their DEX, the number one DEX on SUI, gets hit through the smart contract exploit. Now you got Mist and Labs and the SUI Foundation trying to conjure up a loan that Cetus can get, blah, 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 blah. So as you can see, smart contracts add and they take away from security, but they more or less take away from security than they add. So hopefully, you know, Caspa has some of the best, if not the best developers ever working for them. So at least with blockchain. So we'll see. Definitely have high hopes there. All right, let's read some more of these. What's the hesitation from exchanges listing Caspa? All right, so for those that don't know, Caspa, up until not long ago, did not have a foundation. So this is the number one thing that a cryptocurrency can do. They ICO, or hang on. So they raise funds through seed funding or through public funding. And then whenever they launch, they already have a market cap where investors were able to buy low and then sell high. What Caspa went for is a fair launch. So for those that don't know, a fair launch means no seed rounds, it basically, before you launch, you have to get it out to the public that this network, and on this date, will be mineable by your GPUs, your ASICs, whatever the algorithm supports. So we know Caspa, they fair launched. Actually, they launched fair than any other network out there. So this is something I always go back and forth with Bitcoin maxis about, is they say that Bitcoin was the most fair launch. How does somebody own 1/23 of the supply of Bitcoin and it was launched fair? So that's my counter argument. A fair launch needs to be, everybody knows this thing's going to launch. At least a couple thousand people need to know. And the moment it launches, everybody has an equal opportunity to go and mine these tokens. And again, if somebody has 1/23 of the supply, to me, it just shows it was not fair launched. Now, this day and age is much easier to get people to go to a proof of work network. And the moment it launches, you can start mining it because crypto's already adopted. So in the year 2009, whenever Bitcoin launched, we didn't have that adoption yet. So it was just the cypherpunks and the people that were really pushing the space forward that were there to mine Bitcoin at the genesis. So the more you know, as far as exchanges in Caspa, since it was fair launched, we don't have a treasury of money. More or less, we have donations. So with donations, we have been listed on Kraken. I'm pretty sure, certain meme coins get exchange listings as well. So you could donate, and then within certain exchanges, they allow you to put your token over there as long as you pay them. So that's how a lot of exchanges work. And then on the other half is, would there be competition? So if you're pushing Caspa on a network or on an exchange very similar to like Binance or Coinbase, then people are buying Caspa and they're not buying your XRP or even your native token. Like, they're not gonna buy BNB if Caspa is on your blockchain, on your exchange. So why would I list it? There's no incentive really, other than the fees. If you're able to sell Caspa on your centralized exchange, you can collect fees. So that's really the only benefit that you can get. That's why people aren't rushing to go list Caspa, but this is good for you guys. You want to be able to get in before the huge news. If you're able to own Caspa, which I have I think over 200,000 Caspa, and I'm just sitting on it. I'm accumulating other projects. I'm not buying any more Caspa. I think I have enough. If you're able to accumulate some Caspa, just wait. It's going to get listed on these exchanges. Smart contracts could add to DeFi. They can add to AI. They can add to DePIN, all these different niches that exist in crypto. Definitely continue to add. And this is not a Caspa live stream, so we're going to go on to the next question. Hoping to get my SUI gameplay device any day now. I'll let you know how it goes, Crux. Brandon, yeah, let us know, because I definitely want to see it. I think a lot of people have already started uploading their gameplay. It looks very interesting. So those that don't know, it's a handheld gaming device created by Miston Labs, if I'm not mistaken, or I don't know if they have a Miston Labs created Sui. Sui created this handheld gaming device, and you can play some pretty cool games over there and earn some crypto rewards. That's how gaming should be. You know, I grew up playing all these different games, putting my hard-earned money into memberships, like recurring memberships every month. I'm paying these games, and then it's actually illegal to sell in-game currencies for real-life money. So you can't earn money inside of a game and then go sell it. So there's no way to profit from the game. And now, 2025, we're starting to get handheld devices that allow you to profit because you should own your data and be able to make income from gaming, because gaming is going to be the next big thing whenever we are on our next shift out of really employment. You know, I can go on a rant on why I think unemployment is going to be probably 20% plus by the end of the decade, maybe middle next decade. And that's really because of AI and a lot of things that I can see in the near future. But I think gaming and the metaverse are going to be the big players that really win in that race. But it's about time that we start being able to monetize. The airdrops have been great so far, and I don't even have it yet. Okay, right. Yeah, there's an airdrop for just buying the Sui play. All right, hey, T-Shrum, smash the likes. Exactly. As you can see, look at that. It says smash the likes right above my head. Smash that like and hit subscribe. I made these banners right for you guys. Follow me on X and join Discord. Those are both in the description down below. If you're not in our Discord yet, I don't know what you're doing. We have Fundamental Fridays every Friday. It's free. We have a crypto channel. We have so much stuff that's going on in Discord, and it's free. There's no reason that you shouldn't be in there. And we're here to help you guys. Again, we're not using it to monetize. We're using it to help the space because we want to be a very good community for trying to weed out like what's corrupt in the space. There's so many people that are telling you to do this when you should be doing that. And we're trying to be the voices of reason. And I think we've been doing a phenomenal job. So at least the comments tell me. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for the support. What other reports are we expecting that can affect the markets till the rate cut? Tim actually broke this down on yesterday's live stream. So there's a couple things that can happen before the rate cuts in September. T-Shroom actually is probably the better person to ask that question. He's very good on that type of stuff. Is it the PPI? I think T-Shroom. I'm not sure if he's still here. I think it's definitely a macroeconomic condition in the United States. Something's going on. Probably dealing with unemployment as well. Because remember, unemployment, PPI, all that stuff that continues to drop even if the Fed's not going live every month. So, and that always is going to contribute to the ups and downs of the probability of an interest rate cut. But honestly, I think the biggest thing that's going to change his interest rate cut decision is Federal Cook. As you can see by the thumbnail, is she going to get fired? Because if Trump appointed 4 of 7 people that are going to vote on his behalf, then you know it is ball game. And these interest rates are going down, and they're going to go down fast. It's not just going to be no 25 base point cuts. We're probably looking at 50 and more. So Trump is pushing for two basis points plus, I think, at this point. He is not just looking for no 25. And also, he's been pushing for this for months. He says we're behind the curve. Jerome Powell, what are you doing, bro? If I could fire you, I would. So there's a lot of stuff going on over there. Continue to educate yourself. But remember, this is more important than all of it. So if something goes up to where the probability of the interest rates go down, and we're not looking to cut, hodling has always been the best option as of the past 2.5 years when we're at 15.5K Bitcoin. And myself, T-Shroom, and Tim, we're telling you to buy. That's what we've been telling you. And we're continuing to tell you. And I'll know 2.5 years, that's a pretty good track record because we're almost at all-time highs. And probably by next week, maybe the week after, we're going to be back to all-time highs. And I think September will be overall bullish. So we'll see. IOTA built for AI agents and World Economic Forum plugin. This guy used a ton of acronyms. PLI, Next Chainlink. All right. Yeah, we're not going to read that one. I don't want to shill any projects I've never heard of because I've heard of like 99% of the reputable projects out there. And I don't know some of those. So send link to Discord. Jim Beam, check it out. It's in the description down below. I have nobody to talk to crypto with. Yeah, man. I mean, jump in the hashtag crypto channel. We're always talking about crypto there. Kryptoni, Caspa made my top 5 slots on Tangem this week. Cool. Yeah, Tangem's a wallet that definitely supports Caspa. So I love me some Caspa. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with this news. We got about 10 minutes left. Post any last questions that you have. This is a big story here. Tom Lee's Bitminer, BMNR is the ticker, just bought another 21.3 million and now holds just under $7 billion worth of Ethereum. That is insane. So we see our good buddy up here, Tim Warren, post tweeting this. Very bullish on Ethereum. Myself, Tim, T-Shroom, we love us some Ethereum. But $7 billion, how do I compare this? How do I stack this up? What does that mean, Crux? Well, this right here is a pretty cool little chart that we can bring up that kind of further explains this. Bitmine, there we go, sorry. So Bitmine's the number 2 treasury holding company out there. You got MicroStrategy, we've all heard of them. The one that's 9 times smaller is Bitminer. So they're up there, that's Ethereum. Remember, Marathon is Marathon's more or less Bitcoin. They're miners of Bitcoin. They're actually miners of Caspa too. So they're more or less just miners in general. And they also hodl their tokens. And I think if I'm not mistaken, they buy some. Maybe not. But anyways, they're the third, one of the largest mining pools and the third largest treasury out there. Tom Lee's Bitmine is right up there at second place. This is a massive acquisition of Ethereum. And why Ethereum? Why Ethereum? Ethereum is going to be the next cryptocurrency to break into its all-time high. That is a large cap. And once it breaks into its all-time high, again, we are probably going to push up towards that 6,000 marker very quickly. And I don't know why it's not showing. Is this? Okay, right. There we go. So we're going to push that 6,000 marker probably fairly quickly because once you get into price discovery mode, after a retest of an all-time high, that's when you send. You can measure the breakouts. A lot of people, much smarter than me, are talking about a $6,000 Ethereum. Once Ethereum finds that little place to consolidate, then we have Solana. So I don't think it's Solana season just yet, but it's good to acquire Solana projects like Jupiter, or even interoperable plays. So I like Jupiter. I like even Bonk. Bonk is an awesome token. It's not just a meme coin. Go check out my Pump versus Bonk video. The Drift. There's quite a bit of pretty solid Solana tokens out there. But remember, once you're diving into those Jidos and all those ecosystem plays, the risk improves, or it gets higher risk. Sorry. So you get more risky down, but the rewards are there as well. So let's wrap it up with a couple last Q&A questions, and then we'll go on about our day. But remember, it's a green day. You guys should be telling people about the good that crypto's bringing. No, they only mine Bitcoin and Caspa. Okay, so they don't buy. Kryptoni says they don't buy Bitcoin. They only mine it. They made a crazy announcement that they were mining Caspa. Nobody knew they were mining Caspa in Q4 of last year, 2024. So they were mining Caspa when it was very cheap. Actually, no, Q4 of 2023. Sorry. So I think around the time that Bitcoin had its ETF approved, or the halving, around that time in 2024, that's whenever Caspa was announced that, hey, we got, Marathon announced that they were mining Caspa, and everyone's like, what is Caspa? What is this project that just ran up in 2023? And why should we pay attention? Because it's following the same roadmap as Bitcoin. So no, the institutions aren't all over this. If I compare Sui and Caspa, they're both 3-year-old projects and native tokens that have dropped 3.5 years at this point. They've both been around for 3.5 years. Why is Sui way higher in a market cap? It's because it's way more centralized. Institutions are involved. Also, it's a proof of stake network. So again, if you own the tokens, you can centralize the network by staking it. Proof of work, it is fair launched. Early insiders couldn't get into this thing. We don't have centralization, so it has to take a slower roadmap similar to Bitcoin. And if it's able to do what Bitcoin did, you're buying Caspa at $20 Where Bitcoin, if you're able to buy at $20, it's probably going to be worth trillions one day because it is the most effective medium of exchange out there. And I'll debate anybody on that. Next cycle belongs to Link, says Thomas. Sure. I mean, every cycle, last cycle belonged to Link. Yeah. I took a good amount of profits at like $50 on Link. So that was one of the plays that I did well on. I bought it like sub $5. So I did well last cycle on Link. This cycle's been a little iffy. Link hasn't been the best performer. But you have to know what's going on, right? So Link tokenomics aren't the best. That's why I think it's just hasn't done the best. I love it as a project. 2017, we didn't understand tokenomics. That's why XRP is continuously dumping all of us. Yeah, so that's why XRP is dumping on. 2017, nobody understood crypto. And nowadays, people understand it. We know the teams and the insiders should not be getting over 40% of the crypto. And if you check out my Keeta video yesterday, they have 40%, but they locked all those tokens behind Keeta Inc. So they cannot publicly sell this 40%. It's very interesting. This is the first time we've seen this in crypto, where companies are going to start providing equity for early insiders and not allow the selling of tokens. So as crypto continues to evolve, every single project is bringing something new to the table. And the Bitcoins, the XRPs, the Solanas, they all have flaws in their tokenomics, more or less. I mean, not so much Bitcoin, but the programmable tokens, more or less, have flaws in their tokenomics because we didn't understand it well at that point. But that's where the risk takers were. Those were the people who put their money in something that could not have played out, and that's why they're rich. The people that bought Chainlink tokens at 2 cents in that seed round, you know, that's how they got rich. Crux, looking at smart contracts, VProgs on Caspa. Yeah, so my next Caspa video, again, drops Friday, and it's going to be focused mainly on the smart contracts. I'm not ready to talk about individual projects on Caspa yet because, again, my channel, it's blowing up. It's ever since the last 2 weeks I started live streaming, like the progress has been insane. I'm talking like 5 times the amount of views I normally get because the algorithm of YouTube is loving it. And they're loving you guys' feedback in the comments, you know, the live chats, all that stuff. So the channel's starting to get big. I have to be very careful what I tell people. And also, I take the risks that a lot of people aren't taking. Keeta, for example, this is a project sub 500 mil market cap. If it goes to zero, I just told thousands of people that I think this is the next big thing. So I'm taking a lot of risk on a lot of this stuff, and I want to protect you guys more than anything. So I don't want to, like, Caspa smart contract projects and these types of things. Caspa Finance, for example, it's an app out there. I'm just not ready to talk to you guys about. If you want to join the Discord, I'll definitely talk about it in like a Fundamental Friday. It's free. I just want to protect the audience here on YouTube, and I think that should be respectable. You know, I don't want to go live telling you guys the next 50x or 100x altcoin that's going to come out of nowhere. I want to tell you guys what's the next 5, 10, 15x and just try to keep y'all safe. So Keeta is a 15% of my, okay, 15% is very high for Keeta. I would not have 15% of my portfolio in Keeta, but I did acquire some Keeta like 2 days ago. So we had like 3 dumps. There's 2 dumps. I bought Keeta, and then we had that 3rd dump yesterday. So I'm down on my Keeta bag that I just bought. I've had Keeta since like 40 cents. So I'm up pretty much on Keeta, very, very up a couple X's. And, you know, I actually think it's the best asymmetric risk in all of crypto right now. And I break it down in that video that I dropped yesterday. A lot of people watched it. And I encourage you, since we're about to wrap up here, to go and watch it. So I don't see any more questions in chat. I see 45 of you guys still viewing me. Thank you guys for sticking around. I don't know how many likes do I have. Oh, 63 likes. We did not get it. As you can see, 100 likes. And I'm going to keep on dropping this. Once we pull 100 likes in a live stream, I'm going to pull up CoinGecko and I'm going to find you guys a gem live in action. And I'm going to tell you guys what I'm looking through, how I do it. I'm giving you guys the full scoop. I run a community called the Gem Hunters. We're in Discord. We're sniping these things out of 15 different plays over across the last 8 weeks. So that's 2 months across 15 different plays. We're pulling on average like a 70% plus ROI on some of these, on all of these plays on average, but some of the plays were called maybe 3-4 days ago. So those are included in the average ROI. So it brings down the initial ones that were dropped 2 months ago. So very interesting. If you're looking to get into the gem hunters, check out our memberships down below. We have 3 different memberships. We have the VIP trading group. This is where people are making a lot of returns. We actually had some guy who got $500, put it in there, and turned it into 50K. So insane story. Shannon, salute. You did a good job over there. And we're continuing to print money in the Discord. So check the link down below. Cat in the Hat. Thanks again, Crux. Have a great evening. And with that, you guys all have a great evening. Love you all. Thank you for the support. Smash the like, subscribe. Michael, we got to get the live views up.